Ukraine. I'm joined now from Capitol Hill by Congressman Eliot Engel. He's the top Democrat on the House Foreign Affairs Committee. He's just returned from a trip to Ukraine. Congressman, thanks very much for joining me. That report there from Steve Rosenberg on what he's finding in the east of the country. You were there just last week. What did you find?
Well, I found pretty much united Ukraine, all resisting Putin's aggressive motions. I think that it's very important that the territorial integrity of Ukraine be maintained. And it's clear to me that Mr. Putin is trying to disrupt the elections in Ukraine, which are to be held on May 25th. And I think it's absolutely important that as many people as possible vote in those fair and free democratic elections so that the will of the people of Ukraine can be shown.
So are you saying that even in the east of the country, you really found no evidence of pro-Russian support?
Well, I'm sure there's plenty of pro-Russian support, but there are plenty of people who, while they may support Russia, don't like the confrontation that Putin is obviously doing. I think it's very important that Putin be stopped. I think if he gets away with this now, I think that he will continue. I think he thinks that Crimea is a done deal. It should not be a done deal, and he's going to threaten to move to other places. I believe, again, the fair and free elections, which hopefully will be held May 25th. I think Putin's going to do everything he can to sabotage those elections, but I think it's the will of the Ukrainian people who vote in them to decide what direction they want their country to go. And I would accept the free and fair election, and Putin, I think, is going to try to hurt it.
Okay, so if President Putin must be stopped, in your words, do you think that the new sanctions announced by the White House today are going to do anything at all to stop him?
Well, I think the sanctions are modest. I think they, frankly, have to be escalated if he doesn't stop. I think the United States cannot do it alone. We need our European partners, both in the EU and in NATO, to do it. And I think just the way sanctions brought Iran to the bargaining table, I think ultimately if Putin knows that sanctions against his industries are going to be put in effect, he'll have no choice but to stop his aggressive behavior. There are all kinds of sanctions, and that will be escalated if Putin escalates it. I hope it wouldn't come to that, but if it does, Putin has to know there's a price to pay.
And the EU is discussing further sanctions today. You've said that we need to go further. What more do you want President Obama to do now?
Well, if Putin continues again with his pressure and his outrageous intervention into another country, there are lots of his sectors that can be hit. His mining sector, his banking sector, his energy sector. These are all things that I think should be on the table in the future if Putin doesn't stop his aggressive behavior.
Okay, Congressman Engel, thank you very much for joining me on the program.
Thank you.
Quick look at other news now from around